All right, we are live. Super Terb podcast, episode 50. This is a big day, everybody. Very excited about today, and I've got an awesome guest joining me today. One of the best agents in the country out of Charlotte, North Carolina, or Cornelius to be exact, but I am excited. Got to share this to my personal page. There we go. Tag. Tag Phil. We'll get started. Puma. There we go. We got it going. And welcome to the Super Terb podcast. I'm your host, Michael Terb, your local real estate expert with the Terb Group, Cole Banger, HPW, aka Super Terb, aka Coach Terb. And I'm here for Super Terb's podcast, episode 50. We started this podcast, it's hard to believe, about a year and a half ago to talk real estate, business, sports, and beer in the Triangle. And I've had a blast doing so. I've been interviewing local business owners, entrepreneurs, agents, coaches, you name it, have them tell their story. And of course, sprinkling in real estate updates, tips for you to use in helping you accomplish real estate goals. Today, I have an honor to have a gentleman named Phil Puma join me for my 50th podcast. He's been in the backstage waiting to come on. And I just can't wait to have him come on. His team, he's been doing this. I'm having to tell more about his history and his team. But I'm telling you right now, last year, his team did just under $130 million. They are in Cornelius, North Carolina, Lake Norman, Charlotte area. So I can't wait for him to come on and tell his story, talk about how he's built a team, how he loves what he does, and what he is doing in this market. But before I bring on Phil, I am going to give you a little real estate update, as I always do. And I don't know if you guys saw in the news just yesterday that Meta, Facebook's parent company, announced they're coming to Durham. They've already got jobs out on LinkedIn for people to apply for. And WRL had a really good subject line or saying real estate to double again, maybe 5 to 10 years due to the fact of Meta coming. We already know Apple's coming, Google's coming. So as I say, the Raleigh, Durham area, the Triangle, Research Triangle Park, we're Silicon Valley East. We're the third fastest county in America. And in saying that, it's interesting because people are just hesitant in the market only because of the growth we've seen, rates going up, inflation up. What's going to happen, Terb? I'm going to tell you right now, if you're at all thinking about selling, we've almost had a 40% appreciation over the last 24 months. This is the time to do so if you want to maximize your equity, and whether you want to downsize, you want to go to that next home, please let us know what we can do to help you accomplish your real estate goals. It'd be an honor to come out, do a no obligation market analysis for you to show you what we can do to help you get max value, and most importantly, win. I don't foresee the market. I think eventually we're going to see a plateau in pricings. When? We don't know. You know, we've had 25% appreciation really back-to-back years. Looking at 2021, our average sales price in January of 2020 was $360,000. Just last month, when we got the report from Triangle MLS, our average sales price now, Wake County, is $559,000. So we've seen tremendous growth. It's going to be interesting how we go forward. But again, supply is so low, demand so high that, again, there's no better time to sell. So that's my real estate update today. I'm going to bring Phil in on the other side of this break, and I cannot wait to have him on and tell his story. And welcome back to the Super Terb podcast. Again, I'm your host, Michael Terb, your local real estate expert with the Terb Group, Coldwell Banker, HPW, aka Super Terb, aka Coach Terb, and Phil Puma. Say what's up, man.
Hey, Terb. How you doing, man?
You're live, baby. Yeah, man. This is an honor for you to take time. I love the picture in the background, the Rocky there. Just you coming on, tell your story. I have a lot of respect for what you do, what you've done in this industry. You started before, you know, the financial crisis come on the other side. And, you know, when we had a lot of inventory, we're down in inventory. But I just wanted to take this time to say thank you. So before we get started, again, tell everybody, I know your name's on the screen there. But for everybody listening in Apple and Spotify land, say your name, where you're from, and just what your company name is.
Sure. It's Phil Puma, Puma Associates Realty. We're right here in the Lake Norman area, right outside of Charlotte. We service both North and South Carolina in and around the Charlotte area. I've been doing this since 2003, but that's where I'm at. That's who I am.
That's awesome, man. We already got a first comment here. Christian McCarthy coming on. Say, Super Terb. I love it. I love it. We're going to hopefully have some more people from the core jumping on. We'll get into that a little bit later. So how long you been in real estate, man?
So I've been doing this since 2003.
Okay. And what did you do before real estate?
So great question. Before that, I was actually a lender. So kind of in a similar type of business. So I started in lending. I really enjoyed the business, but the thing I really loved was I loved houses and people. And I just, from the lending perspective, I was sitting more behind the desk, trying to put deals together. And I wasn't able to see just the joy in someone getting in a home, right? So that's why I switched. I was doing some real estate investing, kind of did some stuff of my own, really saw the value in real estate and loved the more client facing. So switched over from lending into real estate and never looked back. I really love what I do. I love to help people get into houses. I love selling houses. So that's why I'm there.
Awesome. Well, before I get into more questions, and because I want to have you tell everybody kind of how you started and how you've grown, so I think this would be very valuable not only for people that are listening, but other agents that may listen to the podcast and thinking about building a team and how to succeed in a challenging market, especially when supply is so low. So in saying that, obviously we're only about 2.5 hours away from one another. What's the market like in Charlotte? Or the Charlotte, when I say Charlotte, obviously you do the Charlotte area as well as some of South Carolina, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so we're right outside of Charlotte, handle all the suburban areas in Charlotte. Our office is right here in Cornelius and Lake Norman. The market is still pretty hot. When I look at it, inventory is still low. Demand is still high. I know last couple of weeks we have noticed, and I'm a statistics guy, so I'm always looking at numbers. And what I've noticed is our amount of showings have slowed up. So that I'm thinking the demand is curbing a little bit, and the amount of multiple offers has also slowed down. So we're getting a little bit less showings, a little bit less amount of offers. We're still getting multiple offers, and our price point is still good. But when you look at basic economic principles, I think that's a sign of where we're going to start to see even less showings eventually, and then maybe just a normal one offer and not multiple offers. So I think it's going, and I heard you talk about the possible, I don't know when the plateau is going to be, because it could be like this for months and then we plateau. I think rates had a little bit of an impact. And I always look this time, it's really weird, right when school lets out and graduations are happening, people seem to take off on vacation. So I don't know if it's an anomaly of a couple weeks, but we're going to keep an eye on it, Terb, and I know you are. I know we talk a lot, being there we're a couple hours away. We refer business back and forth in our markets. But I don't know if it's just a couple weeks anomaly or if we're going to keep an eye on it here. We'll keep in communication. And it might just be like this where we're still seeing the multiple offers and the prices still continue to climb, but we'll see a plateau. We have so many people moving, to the Research Triangle in your area or in the Charlotte metro area that I just don't think we're going to slow totally. And I don't think we're going to dip. People talk about the crash and when's the bubble, when's it going to happen. I don't foresee it happen in our markets. I think some odd properties might depreciate because right now people are just buying whatever they can. Some properties that you can't fix the problems on those properties, those ones might dip a little bit when they have more to choose from. But I just don't see it. I think we've been undervalued for what we have to offer, in the Charlotte area, in your Raleigh area, that I think there's so many people moving here from all over the country that we have a really good thing here.
I totally agree. And it's funny you say that because probably about the last 4 to 6 weeks, we've seen the slowdown in showings and even the offers, because last weekend we sold I sold a townhome we just listed for $3,099. We ended up with 2 offers. It only takes one, and we still did very well with those offers. We had about 16, 17 showings over the weekend, and I told my sellers, when I already prepped them before we went live, that we had this. If this was 6 to 8 weeks ago, we would have had 10 offers and 50 showings. Correct. And I also agree with where timing of year. My kids' last day of school is Friday. People are thinking about summer vacation, and in our area, you guys have year-round schools there in Charlotte?
We don't.
Obviously in Raleigh, in Wake County, we do. So when year-round gets out in June, that's their vacation. They go back to school right after 4th of July week. Then traditional schools, July is that time where they go out of town. And again, so we've also talking with my mother, Ida Terb, has been doing this forever. We work together. the lower price points, we've also seen a little bit of slowdown, because I think those are the buyers that have felt the rates the most, because a couple $100 plays a difference. Tell me if you've seen this. Have you seen an uptick with 1031 exchanges? Because the last few properties, it seems like there's 1031s going in that need somewhere to put their cash.
I agree, because when with the properties appreciating so much, when there wasn't a big tax check that they had to write, people weren't worrying about flipping into that next property. But we are seeing more people concerned with some tax deferment and using the 1031 tax deferred exchange. So as I always say, if you're looking into tax 31 deferred exchange, make sure you talk to your tax professional. But yes. Obviously, we are seeing those more often nowadays. So
very good. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting time. Like it's, I have a crystal ball in my office. When I was fortune teller Terb, as much as we'd love to know what's going to be happening, I do agree. It goes back to when we were taught in school that the economics. If there's only one for sale and 10 people want it, the prices are going to continue to go up. And I feel like more and more people are coming here every day. So yeah, just wanted to pick your brain there. So let's go back now. You already said you were a lender prior to getting into real estate. When you first started out in real estate, what was that like?
Yeah, so at first I was a normal independent agent, just me, myself, and I, doing everything on my own. I mean, it's, as you know, it's like no other business. You do everything, and it's, no one really teaches you that in real estate school. So you do it all. I eventually started to build up a team and had my company where I had all just independent agents. So again, I'm doing my own thing. They're doing their own thing. And that's kind of how I started out. And then, as we know, and I know you talked about it, that was prior to the mortgage meltdown, time frame and the recession that we had, and when prices did drop, that was a big change. From that point, a lot of my agents weren't selling any houses, had to go get 9 to 5, W-2 salary jobs. So it was back to just me. And then really allowed me. This is all I know how to do, Terb. And this is what I love doing, is selling houses. So I'm like, I got to figure a way out and do this. And I was just fortunate right around that time, right after the mortgage meltdown, the recession started to fade out. It was 2012 where I met Rick Ruby locally here in Cornelius, who runs the core training, which trains and coaches real estate and mortgage professionals. So it was kind of a blessing that I was introduced to him, found him, and really that allowed me to train a team the right way, hire and train a team the right way. Rather than the way I had it done before. And that really was a game changer for me, where now I have a team of 14 team members. I have a bunch of salaried staff people. I have sales people, run it more like a business, so that we're able to give like an amazing experience compared to just being a transaction and going to the next one. It's more fun. I love the business, and I concentrate my time and attention really just on, being in front of clients, meeting with clients, seeing houses, meeting them at houses. That's what I love to do. I am not a paperwork and process person, and I hated that part of the business. But I have people on my team that love it. They're phenomenal at it. Along with me, they're great at clients, giving the clients an amazing experience. So it's just night and day, the experience, when it was just me, myself, and I running around crazy. And as you know, when you're doing that, I mean, you're working so many hours that you can't be best served for your clients. And now everyone on my team, our hours are not crazy where we can give that amazing experience. Our referral business is out of the roof. The majority of our business is referral based on the experience they're getting because of my team that just takes amazing care of them. I love what I do. Everyone on my team loves what I do. We give them that family experience. I treat my team like a family, and they just in reverse treat my clients like family. That's the way I was brought up. I was brought up in an Italian family. Hey, just take care of everyone, right? Feed everyone. We do a lot of events where we feed people, and it's just, to me, I love what I do. This is all I know how to do, and I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't do it anymore.
I love it. You answered a bunch of the questions I had, but I can see the passion when I've met you, how you operate, you run your team. It's fantastic. Now, when you started and you said you run around, was there any moments though that you almost didn't think you were going to get to year 2, or was there no option?
So I wouldn't say year 2. It seemed like every year was growing until that mortgage meltdown hit. And I'll tell you right now, that was a point where I was like, because business was doing well. We were increasing every year. But I'll tell you right now, and then, at that point we were doing so well, my wife decided, she was at corporate job and decided to stay home and take care of the kids. But when that mortgage meltdown happened, I'm like, what are we going to do? Our income dropped. She decided to go back into corporate America, which again, it was a big stress on the family because it was a total change from being back home with the kids, where that's, what our goal was, her to help with the kids. She had to go back into corporate America. She had to really put her time in there, stayed there a while until she built that up. That allowed me, I was fortunate of that because she was able to, help with benefits and help with some income added to the family. Allowed me to be able to invest the time and the money into my business to grow the team and develop into my business. So together, worked really well. We had that opportunity. She then, after several years, has come to help me with my team. She's really unbelievable at process, about management, leadership. So she really helps me out. She's director of operations on the team now. That's corporate America. Brought the corporate America to our team family. And it really just has been a game changer too in that. So we know we went through those moments. Or I don't know, it wasn't year 2, but there was that time when I'm like, wow, I love doing this, but maybe I need to do something else.
So when he was ready for you to start a team, and I know you have Puma Associates, it's your own firm.
Yeah.
But when you were ready to start a team, especially when you were bringing on the admin, agents, people that you had responsibility for, what was there any hesitation, or what was the one thing that you had to break through to start that? Because I know a lot of agents I talk to that are running themselves into the ground, and they haven't, found the core. They haven't found how to delegate yet.
Yep.
And they're afraid. What advice would you give them?
So that is a phenomenal question. I'll tell you right now, and this is any business owner, but I noticed it was for me. It is so hard as a realtor, as a leader, as an owner of a company to just let go, especially when I was used to taking care of every aspect of the business. And a lot of my clients are friends and people that I know, and I wanted to make sure that they were taken great care of. So I would literally be like, who was that on the phone? I need to talk to them. Copy me on every email. I still was I wanted to do everything and be a part of it. I couldn't let go, right, Terb? So I was like, I wanted to have people to help, but it was almost double the work because I wouldn't let go. And really what you need to realize is that if you make the right hire and do all the upfront stuff, they are there. They want to take care of you. They want to take care of your clients. They're there to do a great job. But you have to hire right and train right, and they will be there. And that's once I finally let go. It's the opposite now. My team is the best it's ever been. It's phenomenal. I don't ask that. I'm like, don't copy me on every email. I have someone who takes care of my email, takes care of my schedule so that I can focus on the stuff I love. And they're amazing. So that was the hardest thing. Number 2, it's really hard because you look at it as at an expense. Like I mentioned earlier, I grew up in an Italian family, very blue collar Italian family where I wasn't taught business. I went to college and I really wasn't taught business there. I mean, I went in major econ, but I didn't really learn. In real estate school, they don't teach you. So from my growing up, my dad's like, work hard, bust your butt. So I did that. And I looked at if I hired someone, that's an added expense. And I'm like, that's another expense I have to have. I can keep that money and not spend it. But what we realize is that if we do that and pay an employee, it is an expense, but it's an asset that allows you to go out and do what you're good at. And that's generating business. And that's what a lot of business owners need to realize is that if they have the right people on the right seat in the bus, it's not an expense. It's an asset that will help you have a better experience, and you're employing people in your community. It allows you just to be a better business. But again, right hire, right training, right leadership. And then a lot of owners, and this is where a lot of owners, once they get to that point, they just entrust everyone everything and they sit back and don't do anything. I think business owners, to be successful, need to be in their business, whatever. If they're great at being a manager, a leader, a process, do that. If you're good at being a salesperson, be the salesperson. In real estate, I think the team leader has to be the salesperson. And that's what I love doing. But those were the 2 fears for me. It was just letting go that people couldn't do it as good as me. But I'll tell you right now, they do it 110 times better than I do. I still love selling. I'm still the top sales guy in the team because that's what I love doing. But they take care of all the other stuff that they're amazing at. And I've gotten past. And now I know that having to pay those salaries really motivates me. I really care about all of my people. And to me, before we even make a dime in profit, I know I have all these people. I have 14 team members. Most of them have families. So they got to take care of their families. That's like 30, 40 people that count on me to generate business. So that is on my shoulders. That motivates me to keep doing more business, to take care of my people here, keep them employed, and help them provide for their families. That's really what pushes me and motivates me too as I continue to build my team. It makes me want to do more and more and more every day.
Yeah, I can see that. And if you could go back and when you were starting the process of building the team, what are maybe a couple things of say, all right, what would you have done differently? I know hindsight's always 20/20, but again, something that if you had to go back and say, if I did that, I wish I would have done that way or that way better.
So great questions. First of all, being a smaller company, your first hire, you like the first person that comes into interview, you're just excited that they came to even interview, right? So I'm like, when can you start? I really, and my first handful of people that I hired, like there was no interview questions. There was no, It was like, so I hired just everybody and anybody on those first, 5-10 hires. I think it's important. Now we do disc profile testing. So we make sure it's a good fit on our team. To me, it's not even the amount of experience or the best resume. To me, it needs to be a good fit. So what I do now too, on every hire, we do personality testing, which we use DISC. I know there's a bunch of different personality testings. Number two, my whole team interviews the new candidates. I don't care if it's one of my buddies. If they want to be on my team, I need to make sure everyone gives them a thumbs up. If they don't, they're not hired, right? I don't veto anything. They have to have a legitimate reason of why in that interview process. But my whole team, we work as a team, so everyone needs to make sure. You look at some sports team, when they got some player that's great, but he doesn't get along with the other players, they're not going to win a championship. They are not going to win a championship. It's the same with my team here. So I think no matter whatever business you're in, you need to make sure that everyone works well together. Number two, I didn't have a training program. So I'm like, and I think I failed some of my early employees that might have been good. It's like, here you go get them, go do it, throw stuff on their desk, and wasn't delegating properly. So I think training and delegating properly. I wasn't having a morning meeting. I have a morning meeting every day without fail. Even when I'm not here, the team still meets in the morning just to get an idea of what's going on, who's taking care of what, going over the schedule for the day. So team meeting has been game changer. We did not do that. And really my biggest training that I do now, and we have obviously a training program, is shadow training. Because there's a lot of, I would say realtors, we're going to talk about realtors that are like, I'm so busy, I don't have time to train people, right? What are you busy doing? You're doing stuff. Let them shadow train you. If they shadow train you, they will learn from what you say, how you do it. If you have to go in and if you're pulling comps, let them watch you pull comps. If you're writing up an offer, let them watch you write up an offer, right? And I use a lot of video to record what I'm doing so they can look back at it on training. So training, I love shadow training. I love recording training. So those two are huge. And I think that's any business because people aren't going to remember. They can write it down, right? But everyone loves video. This is on video, right?
This is it. And it's funny, my first year.
We're going to be on video.
I know I surprised you. My first year, I wasn't a dummy, but we called it a dummy contract that I had in my bag. Back then, it was only 6 pages.
Yep.
And every time I'd write an offer, I just pull it out and put it next to my, my clients would know, or they would know how long I've been doing it. But I could reference as I wrote my offer. That that's helping me. You mentioned the DISC personality test, and not everyone here listening maybe hear that. But let me just ask you. So when you were hiring, I'll go real fast. If you're hiring an admin, what are you looking for as far as that DISC test?
So that's a great question. So I think admin, you need a high S. With S is someone that's going to be supportive and really support you. They want security of a team and business is going to continue to grow. They don't like a whole lot of change. So the biggest thing is when you hire an admin person, since most of those are S, you need to make sure you have your stuff together because if you're kind of all over the place, they don't feel comfortable and secure in that. They want that security. So I like a high S. I do like having some C. C is going to be attention to details, very analytical. So we, as salespeople, most salespeople, and
we're eyes, baby.
We are not detail oriented, right? So we need the people that keep us in line that are detail oriented, right? And you want a little bit of I in your admin person so they can communicate with your clients, right? So that's, I think I is number 3. But if you're a high salesperson, you need a lot of I. I is just that's someone that's going to be influenced. Handle a lot of influence, going to be, someone that's talkative, social out there. You really don't want, I don't think anyone on your team with a high D personality. D is going to be it's going to be the leader. It's going to be the manager. You can't have too many leaders on the team. And there's not as many Ds. The majority of the public out there is an S. They're working for somebody. They want to support the company they work for. But if you have a high D on your team, you are going to butt heads. It's going to be a difficult situation there.
My mom won't admit she's a D. It's hilarious.
So
now you have a
mom way back in the day. It's been a
she's a DI, and she's like, I'm not a D. I'm like, Mom, she has no filter. It's you have a phenomenal executive assistant. So as far as an EA goes, what would you say that personality, would that still be S? But obviously they're an executive assistant's helping you your day-to-day, keeping you organized, keeping your day planned. Would that have more C than S, or a combination like an admin?
I tell you now, I think it needs to be someone totally balanced, because I think an executive assistant does have to have a little bit of D into them. They have to be very direct to you to keep me in line. Like, I could easily say, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not going to the appointment. I don't care who I need to call, but they need to be on me to make sure that I am doing everything I need to do. Because us as business owners, you want to do everything every day, but sometimes you need someone that holds you accountable. When you're the boss, besides your coach, obviously we're in coaching program in the core training. We have our coach, but our coach isn't here day to day. You need someone day to day, and that needs to be your assistant, right? Your executive assistant, your personal assistant, to keep you in line. I always think it needs to be, for me, I always think it needs to be a mom, and I always tell them, treat me as if I'm your kid, right? That know that your kid needs to get to the next place they need to go to. You need to make sure your kid is at that next spot, because if not, I said, I am like, as salespeople, we chase squirrels, right? We're going to be all over the place. We need someone to keep us in line, even though we have our calendars on our desk. We have our calendar on our iPhone, on our Apple Watch. Like, we still need someone to make sure we get our day done. Because as leaders, there's so much for us to do. We bring in business, take care of the team. We want to make sure that person is really on you. So I think it needs to be balanced, because they need to be supportive of you. They can't have too much D, right? They need to be supportive. They need some D. They need to be analytical to details, making sure they're keeping on all your details. They do need to be able to communicate well. So I think they need to have some eyes. I think it needs to be a well-balanced person. I am not a disc professional, but that's just my opinion on who I need for my executive assistant.
So real fast, I know you mentioned 14 team members. Just break down positions real quick.
Yeah. So real quick, obviously there's me, that's the team leader. I have my wife is director of operations, runs the operations side of the business. I have my brother Joe, who runs the sales end of the business, and he's got a director of sales, runs the sales end. Him and I are the ones that handle buyers and sellers. Underneath Joe, we have 5 buyers agents. So obviously they're on the sales side. So that's 7 of us on the sales side. And obviously total 15 counting me. Then we have 8 support staff. The way the support staff work is that I have 2 people on my listing team, a listing specialist, listing coordinator, and then I have 3 closing coordinators that take the deal from contract through the closing period. And then I have an assistant that sits up front, handles everything, everyone coming in, handles my marketing and all that kind of stuff. So social media. So that's kind of team. I think I got everybody there.
So when you say listing specialist, just people in it, because you have buyer's agent. So listing specialist, does that specialist go out for listing appointments with you, or do you still tackle those appointments yourself?
That's a great question. So the listing specialist will come out to some, will not make every one of them. So my brother and I are the only ones that actually handle the listings, and our listing specialist will come out to some of the appointments. I really want the listing specialist to at least see the homes. They can see it with us. It's great. If not, they will schedule a different time, because both myself or my brother or the listing specialist are going to be communicating with the agent. So we need to all know that house, right?
Got it.
We all need to make a point to make sure we see the house. We know what we're selling. But the great part about it is that our clients don't just get me or don't just get Joe. They get all of us, right? So we're all going to work. We're all trying to sell it. Our buying team's trying to sell the house. So we're all going to work for our clients.
So is the listing specialist in communication with the sellers till they go pending?
Yeah,
and then it goes to the
correct.
okay.
Exactly
just so everyone that's listening understands, the system sounds amazing. It is amazing. That sound amazing. And so as you built your team, what was your aha moment? Like, dang, this is fun. I'm not necessarily that you've arrived, but like, wow. Like, I said on the, and correct me if I'm wrong, but on the intro, I said, you made just under 130 million volume as a team.
Yep.
When you first started, you were making around 10 million by yourself.
Yep.
That's a tremendous jump.
Yeah.
So when you, maybe when you had 50 million, or, you're like, wow, what else can we accomplish together? What was that moment like? Where you remember it?
Yeah, so I think the biggest change is when I really just let go. And I think having an assistant that took care of, everything. I think my wife taking the management role off of my plate and the leadership, because even though I lead the team and I'm a team leader, my forte is sales. Like, I love to sell. I'm not the greatest leader, and I'm working on that every day. And I think every leader should be always working on their leadership. So once my wife came in, and was able, because that's her forte is management and leadership, she could lead the team so that I can just do what I love, and that's selling, Terb. And that's really what catapulted us into that. And I think it was, I don't know the number, but it was in that between 50 and 80 and jumped us over 100 million. That was like the big jump, because it does take a lot of time as owners of any business, especially real estate, to be able to run a team and manage a team. But it's like to be able to just, do that. I'd almost take it like if you take a football team, the quarterback trying to be the coach, and trying to be, run the plays, offense and defense. I just want to throw the ball, right? And that's what I want to do. I want to throw the touchdowns, and that's what the team allows me to do. And that's what I love doing. And with that said, my team, once we got to that point, we're so organized, just having it. We love to have events and happy hours and client appreciation. If I could do that every day and have a happy hour every day, I would be in heaven. So when we get that's going to be my next aha. Like, yes, if I can have happy hour every day.
When I stopped by your office, we were in town. I stopped by your office that day, and I found out you had someone specifically for events or your VIP. I was like, that's awesome, because that's one thing you don't have to worry about. It's on your schedule. You may have to obviously make the phone calls to make sure people are going to be there, but I love that part of it. Is right now I'm head of the fun committee on my team, and they know we have a good time. What separates Puma Associates from your competition?
That is great. So I think the majority of the competition in our business just is very transactional, and they just see this house, this being done, and then moving on. Where ours is relationship-based business. Like I mentioned, we treat people like family. That's the most important. Like helping the client meet their real estate goals, and obviously being a profitable company is second. But that comes along with just making it an amazing experience, treating them like family. Before, after, during the transaction, keeping in touch with them after. There's so many realtors, they close the deal and they don't call their clients like, oh, they're not selling for another 5 or 7 years. I want to keep in touch with them the entire time, just because you look at them, sometimes you're with clients like, you talk to them for, 50, 60 days in a row, and you see them every day, and all of a sudden you're like, see you later. We keep in touch with them. And that's the part that I love. And I think it's the biggest difference between us and our competition. We love what we do. We love keeping in touch with our clients, having events with them, reaching out to them on their, house anniversaries, on their birthdays. That's what I love about our business. And I think that's what's the game changer and what we do compared to our competition.
So this year, when you were coming into 2022, what were your goals for your team?
Yep. So our goals, this number one goal is to get better. We want to do the same amount of business, but just make it an even better experience for our clients. I am not looking to get bigger and grow a bigger team. I mean, and it sounds crazy. That's been my goal the last 2 years. And every year we've done more business. So I think if you give an amazing experience and work at just getting better at the little things, whether if you're a realtor or any business owner that's out there, if you look at getting just a little bit better here and there, more business will just come. It's just kind of the auxiliary benefits of getting better and having a better experience, for the client. So
that goes to my next question then, is where do you see Puma Associates in 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, I see us just continuing to tighten our process up, doing just a little more business like we have every year. I see a lot more people on my team developing into more leadership roles, taking on more. I just want to focus my time and attention on just selling and more events, more happy hours. Instead of once a month, I'd love to. Maybe we can go to every week. I don't know. We'll get more happy hours. That's the goal.
I love it. Love it, man. No, it's fantastic. I'm going to go now into some rapid questions with you.
Sweet.
This is my fun. I have a lot of fun with this. So, favorite food?
Favorite food, steak.
Favorite restaurant?
Antico's in Huntersville, North Carolina, Italian place. Make sure you go visit right out the Target Shopping Center.
All right. Favorite band?
Favorite band? You know what? There's so many that are there. Red Hot Chili Peppers.
All right. Favorite cocktail?
Cocktail, I like vodka soda with extra lime.
All right.
Or bourbon. Those are the two things.
I know this one, so this will be interesting. Favorite sports team?
So, we talked about it a lot. Mine now is bound back to the Buffalo Bills. It was 50-50, Carolina Panthers, Buffalo Bills, and I just, I think since the Panthers, lost Olsen and Kuechly and just ownership change, I've just gone back to my Buffalo Bills. I had my AFC team, my NFC team, but I went up to the playoff game last year and just I'm all in, man. I'm going to go back to some games again this year. My Panthers are now number 2, but they were even. Now
I don't blame you, man. I laughed out loud today because they said Sam Darnold had a great practice today. So I kind of laughed at that one. So what do you like doing when you're not selling real estate?
So what do I like doing? It sounds crazy, but I love working out, man. I make sure I work out and stay in shape at least once a day as my workout routine. I live on the lake, so I love getting out boating, being on the lake, just family time, walking the dogs. That's about it, man. Love traveling every once in a while. Those are kind of things I really enjoy doing. Coaching too.
You also coach.
I coach kids sports. I love coaching kids lacrosse. So that's one of the other things I really love doing. I know it's a lot of things there, but there's not just one.
All right. And then best place you visited?
Best place I visited. I'll tell you right now, it was this last spring break. It was a spot that was right south of Siesta Key. It was called Casey Key. It's on the Gulf side of Florida. We've just visited a bunch of different spots along the Gulf side of Florida. I just love Florida. I love the Gulf side of Florida.
Cool. Now, where's a place you want to go to that you haven't been to?
I'll tell you right now, it sounds crazy, but Italy. I've never been to Italy. Both my parents were born in Italy. I would love to get there. Just we got to fit it in this busy schedule. Our goal was to go this summer. I know COVID is supposedly gone, but it's still, when you look at overseas, there's still some protocol and stuff. So really want to wait till it's done so we really can enjoy it and get to Italy.
Yeah, that's you got put on the calendar.
That's right.
That's it. Put on the calendar. I got 2 more questions for you, but I want to briefly, because you mentioned you love coaching, leads you back to the core. And for people that aren't listening, don't really know the core is, you're a level 3 coach. Just briefly talk about that and why you love helping also real estate agents win and help them grow.
Awesome. I love that you brought that up. I talked about loving the coach kids lacrosse. I love coaching realtors. I love giving it back. I know I went through a lot of struggles in getting my business to where it was at, and the core training and coaches have helped me along the way. And I know the value of being a coach. And this is really my time to give back to our industry and really help out other realtors across the country. So I coach top producing realtors all across the country. Terb is now a student in the program, just got into the program, so we're going to coach him up. But I really love helping others with their business. It's just so rewarding when I see people make that jump. When I see people, hiring more people, making more money, saving more money, giving more money away. We hold people accountable on their charity. So all along the way, the mistakes we had, we coach you on not making those mistakes. And in every industry, no matter what you do, the people who succeed need a coach in that business. I'll tell you, that's been a game changer for me. So that's me giving back and helping others. If you look at professional athletes, they're not out there playing on their own. They have a coach that holds them accountable. And some of them have a fitness coach and another coach and a coach that helps them with their diet.
Dietitian.
So and I really, really love what I do and helping other realtors. And I meet with realtors locally here. Obviously you came to visit me. I'm willing to help anyone I can, because I know if I'm helping the industry, they're hiring more people that need jobs. They're giving back to their communities. They're donating money. So core training, I've been fortunate enough is that they're right here locally in Cornelius. So I love that they're here. So I'm a national coach. I coach 12 realtors every 6 months and then switch over and get another group of 12 realtors. So we coach 3 at a time. We do it on Zoom, just like this, where we're on just it's not a podcast, but on a Zoom, and we just coach them up and hold them accountable. And I think so many business owners need the accountability. Everyone knows what to do. Everyone goes to seminars like, oh, I got this, I'm going to do this. And like anything else, you do it for a little bit and it fades off. The coach is what holds you accountable. All they're paying for is the accountability. and they need someone to make sure they're doing what they do. I'm still coached, as you know. So even if we're a coach, we have a coach that's doing better and more than us. We're the only coaching company that has realtors that are actively in the business. So much of our competition that did it 20 years ago, we're in the business. We're being coached, right? So we know what's going on in the industry, and then we're coaching people that we're trying to coach up to our potential. So,
well, I'll say what I love. I've been in the Corps now a year and a half, hard to believe, yeah. And it's just the high accountability, and I think you either want that or you don't. And I gravitate towards the accountability, and the way Rick runs the program is so similar. Especially a lot of us too come from sports background, structure, accountability, being on time, and doing the work. Where if you don't have that, just like you said, I know what to do now. I know the theme days. I know when to do them. But if I know I don't have to turn it in that Wednesday or the 2 days before, it's a different animal. So with any agents listening, because I know it took me several years. I still have a great coach, David Kesey, as well. It took me a few years to finally take that step, because it does cost money. What would you tell an agent that's that's on the fence? Because I think I talk to people all the time, and what's also interesting is how I find that with coaching, it's like this secret. Like, you don't talk about it. Like, I have a coach. Like, you know what I mean? It's like people are, not that they're ashamed, but it's like it's an embarrassment, or you know what I'm talking about? Like,
no,
I have a coach.
I agree. I think it's come and more prevalent now for people to realize and say they're being coached. I mean, there's a ton of CEOs who have coaches. So I think it becomes there. And then, our group, as you know, we're totally transparent on what we do and how we do it. There's so many people in our industry that like hide how they do everything. Yeah. We're like, no, this is what I do. Go do it. Because what we know is that the people who really want to do it are going to come into our program. We're going to hold them accountable. The others just are not going to do it. Right. So I think people are more open. There's a lot of life coaches. I think people need it. They need people to talk to, and everything going on, whether it's just a life coach. I have a lot of friends that are life coaches. I think it helps. I mean, there's trainers, like same thing. People can go in the gym and be going to the gym, and like they've been going to the gym and they look the same as they did years ago. They need a trainer to tell them what to do and how to do it and how to change their workout. Those are professionals that do what they do. So I think it's huge. And I think more people are talking about it now. But from a cost perspective, a lot of, when we go back to hiring an employee, it's what it adds to you. Same thing, having a coach. Our program guarantees doubling your income in 2 years. We guarantee doubling your income. So, and if you look at what it costs, it's really, a couple extra deals a year. If we can't do a couple extra deals a year, we suck, right? And we don't suck. Most people are tripling and quadrupling their income in 2 years, if not more.
But I also love the fact it's almost like a fraternity / sorority group, where we just sold a house yesterday that a core agent in Hickory sent me. You've referred me business. We're going to refer you business. We got a lender referral from Florida, agent referral from Florida, agent referral from Utah, who we just sold the land in 2 weeks, by the way. Cash deal. Awesome. Got that done. But yeah, that's just been awesome. So I just wanted you to briefly talk about that.
And I think the other part of coaching, which I think is great, is that, if I'm pushing you guys as my students to do what you need to do, I need to be doing it too. Right? I can't be a hypocrite and saying, hey, you need to do this, and then I'm not doing it. So it actually holds me double accountable. So that's the part that
I always say, those who teach learn twice.
That's exactly correct.
I mean, and that's why I love teaching our team. We have our agents here. I love, and where maybe I get a little frustrated at times, though, is I don't see, that we I briefly talked about, everyone has different motivations on what they want to accomplish. And sometimes when I want to pull them along too, but then I have to understand, they're okay with what they're loving, what they're doing in that point. But I love helping people get there as well, because I have aspirations as well. My letter to Rick a year and a half ago, I said, I'm gonna be on that stage as a level 3 coach in 5 years. So that's my goal, man.
I told you, I think you'd be a great coach. I know you've coached before, so I know you can do it. Just keep pushing it, man. You'll be there.
Appreciate it. All right, 2 more questions.
Yep.
Dinner with 2 people, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, now you're gonna make me think.
Oh, you're gonna like the last question, but you got to answer this one first.
Jim Kelly and Josh Allen. Both quarterbacks. I want to have them in the same.
That would be pretty cool, man. Yeah. That would be some good stories right there. All right, so this is a
Hey,
question.
I'm gonna add both of these two back here too. Can I do
Kobe and
I got Kobe and Sylvester Stallone. So
yeah, that would be fantastic. Just the Black Mamba, man. Like,
yeah, man.
That video I told you that was showed at I watched it the other day shaving. I just get fired up.
Crazy.
About being obsessed with the basics, man.
Yep.
This is a question that I've asked all my guests. Whenever the Super Terb podcast retires, I'm going to make a book of this question because I just love it. All the answers I get. It's the best advice you've ever received, and by who?
The best advice that I've ever received, and who? I tell you now, my dad's given me a ton of great advice about working hard, but I think the biggest thing, so many people get wrapped up in spending way too much money and charge your credit cards. It's like, don't ever charge anything on your credit card that you can't pay off. And so I've never gotten in debt for that reason. I've always made a point to live beneath what I can. And that's been a game changer for me. I think the working hard, I know it's two things, working hard, but just never charging up,
Now, was that something your father instilled in you?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
But it was really just don't spend money you don't have, don't charge credit cards, and he really set me up for that. So I didn't, I made a point to make sure that I always saved money, and never got into crazy amount of debt. And I saw so many people when they, are in college, get out of college, they're in that situation, and just, bust my butt, work hard. And that's what he just instilled in me. I don't know if it was a true saying, but those two things really made a difference in where I'm at.
I love it. Mine was my old high school basketball coach, and he just told me to finish, taught me the values of finishing, and I take that to everything I do. And it didn't matter if that was missing a layup, finish a layup, starting a job, starting a team, making a team, or something doesn't go right. A transaction. How many clients have we had? I know there's maybe probably a couple where, it did fire and it felt good, but for the most part, because you have different, when you're dealing with people's money, you see real emotion. You see how they're going, what they're going through. But how many deals have we gone through? And I remind our team, it's easy to cut bait, but we got to finish and give them the right service and get to the finish line. So that's what my high school coach instilled in me. Man, this has been absolutely awesome. We could talk forever. But before we get off, I'm obviously going to, when I post this on social, I'll tag in things, but just let anybody listening, where like I said, Apple and Spotify land, if they're coming to the Charlotte area, how to reach out to you and get in touch.
Awesome. Thanks for the little plug there. So again, Phil Puma, Puma Associates Realty. We're right here on Catawba Ave in Cornelius, North Carolina. Our website is pumahomes.com. Best way to get in touch with me, office number 704-375-2495. My personal cell number, 704-578-8851. Email is phil@pumahomes.com. But anyone, Charlotte metro area, we specialize right here in the Lake Norman area, where I live, which my office is. Love to take great care of anybody that you know. Appreciate it. Terb, thanks for having me on.
And if you're in his area in the mornings, make sure you hit up F3.
Yeah, I need to plug that in too. I know I talked about things I love to do. F3nation.com. No matter where you are across the country, it started here in Charlotte, but F3 Lake Norman is the spot that I've
looked into it in Raleigh.
You've been doing Raleigh? I love it.
Yeah, I found one not far. I found a couple spots. So I talked
great
about
organization.
that.
I love the guys. I love working out with them. It's unbelievable.
Well, this has been fantastic, and I know usually I have another segment where we talk about a local beer of the week, but I'm going to wait for next week on that one or the next podcast. But again, I want to thank everybody out there that's continuing the support of the Super Terb podcast. Like I said, this was episode 50. I've had a blast doing this. I'm passionate about helping people, learning people's stories, how it could help you. If you don't want to be on the podcast, you don't have to be local, shoot me an email. I'd love for you to tell your story. And as always, guys, if you're in the Triangle area and you're thinking about buying or selling, or if there's anything we can do to help you accomplish real estate goals, please reach out, message me. We'd love to have the opportunity. We'd be honored to help you. And again, as always, guys, it's Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert with the Out of Turbot Group, Coldwell Banker, HPW. And as always, remember, who you work with matters. Until next week, we'll see you.
See you. Bye-bye.